Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, August 12, 2021, 6 p.m. I'd like to invite Danny Lance, Mature Life Church, if he'll come forward, provide our invocation and lead us in our pledge. If everyone will stand.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, first of all, we acknowledge that every good thing in our life comes from you. And second of all, we acknowledge, Lord, that the Psalms declare that the earth is yours and everything in it. So we come before you today because we're in a difficult time. We're in a time that we struggle to come to terms with the disease we don't understand and with all sorts of social issues. And the people that sit in front of us tonight are people that are tasked with great responsibility. So I pray tonight, first of all, for wisdom for each and every one of them. I pray for the peace and comfort that comes from knowing they've made the best possible decisions for the people that they represent. And I pray, Lord, for understanding and patience from all of us as we deal with very difficult issues, and understanding and patience with the people that we've elected to represent us. Because, Lord, they are, as your word says, every person in responsibility you have raised up. And so we declare tonight, Lord, that you will direct and lead this meeting and give us wisdom to move forward. Give us healing for those that are suffering right now from this disease and other things. Give us emotional healing for our nation as we deal with so many difficult issues, because you are our healer. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Helton, Councilmember Witt. Here. City Manager Dorsey.
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right, move to item 4. I assume everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes of the July 22nd, 2021. And I'll entertain a motion for the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion or corrections? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt. Yes. Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item 5, communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen or business owner to come forward and address the council with any questions, concerns, accolades. And each citizen or business owner will have 5 minutes. We had anybody sign in? Okay. We have nobody signed in, but if there's anyone in the audience who would like to come forward, now's your time. I see no one. I'll move on to communication of council members. I'll start on this side. Councilmember Cagle.
No, sir, I don't have anything at this time.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilmember Witt.
I just want to remind everybody that the centennial's coming up, and we need a lot of volunteers to make this happen. So if you are interested in volunteering, please contact me.
Thank you. I will mention that we had no July employee milestone anniversaries for July, but I do believe we have some coming up in August, so that's we'll have that on the agenda later. I wanted to mention the Red Wolves are first in the USL1 standings. They took first place with a win on the road against North Carolina this week. They've got 2 upcoming home games this coming week, Tuesday against North Texas, which is the 17th, 7 p.m. And then Saturday the 21st at 7 is going to be, they're playing Union Omaha, and that is the team that is behind them in second place. So that'll be a very good game. So I hope you can make either or both of those games. I wanted to also mention that the weekend of the 20th, so Friday the 20th, Saturday the 21st, and Sunday the 22nd at Camp Jordan Park is Get Off the Grid. So it's a 3-day experience of music, education, and fun, powered by the sun. Get Off the Grid Fest is a festival of arts and education experience designed to demonstrate and promote alternatives for on-the-grid lifestyle. They're also going to have a two-time Grammy-winning singer and master songwriter Jim Lauderdale will be performing as well. And then, as I always have been mentioning each council meeting, and Councilmember Witt mentioned, keep in mind the Centennial Celebration, which is the 25th from 8 to 10. It's going to be an amazing event. We're getting more and more vendors, crafts. There's going to be food trucks, games, art walk, local artists and market vendors are going to be there, and then we'll cap it off with some amazing fireworks. So anyone that's willing to help volunteer, we're still needing volunteers to help, so we appreciate that. I think that's all that I have, so I'll pass it to City Manager Dorsey.
Thank you. I'll start real quick with Chief Allen. He wanted to get up and make a quick announcement, please.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council, we are tonight graduating our third Citizens Academy. They're across the way getting steaks and potatoes right now. But along those lines, we are going to be starting another Citizens Academy in the fall. The date has not been set absolutely yet, but right now we have 2 applicants, so we are encouraging citizens to apply for that. Ms. Middleton and I checked. The application is not on the website today. It'll be on there tomorrow. They can go on, fill out the application, turn it into the police department, or they can turn it in here to City Hall. It's a really great experience, and it's open to any citizen or business owner in East Ridge. Thank you.
So you say you have 2 that's already submitted. How large is the class size? So how many more do you need to?
10 to 15.
10 to 15.
The last one we had 12 that agreed to come, but we're graduating 9. The other, for various reasons, they didn't
Okay.
make it.
Great program. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I also have a couple other items I'll talk about. I brought up the tunnel at the last meeting, so I'll start with that. I received an email back from Joe Deering at TDOT, apologizing for the delay in getting back to me. The lights that in the tunnel were out because of a circuit breaker. That circuit breaker has been tested, and supposedly the lights will be operational tonight in the tunnel. They've also gotten with NAPCO, which is their on-call contractor, to help get that height bar replaced and repaired. You know, the one that you're supposed to hit before you go in the tunnel that says 11 feet. So hopefully that'll be done shortly. One thing they do ask, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Chief yet about this, is for any trucks that do get stuck in the tunnel or whatever, we need to try to forward those citations or anything, any reports we have on that to TDOT, so they can go after these companies, these trucking companies, for any damages, and also to maybe, you know, if there's other issues with that, they can even go after the CDLs of the operators for violations if they're not paid. So I was going to get with you, Chief, about that to start seeing what we can do to help out TDOT with that. I have to get you a contact for that, though. I don't have that yet. Tunnel detection system. The project has grown from what their original thoughts were. The original plan was to have a localized system that would warn for overheight vehicles as they approach the tunnel. The current systems will include that same early warning system, plus cameras that will be integrated into their traffic management center. They're working with NAPCO on their work. It's anticipated the work on the system will start in about a month. Due to delays we are seeing for materials such as fiber optics, PVC conduit, and steel poles, this project may take up to a year to complete. So I'm just appreciative of TDOT getting back to us and letting us know what the status was on the tunnel. A couple quick timelines. Safe routes to school. We are in the process. I have an updated schedule from them. They're in the process of starting on the right-of-way. Not much was done during the last year on COVID. Diane and I looked at a couple of the projects that were out there and tried to get an update on where this had been. I have no idea where it was before we got involved, before I became city manager, how far it got or what reasons it might have been delayed. But starting last year, we started going full steam ahead with it, working on the engineering. And like I said, we're at the process now working on the right-of-way. We're hoping we already have the notice to proceed on the right-of-way over there. We're hoping to complete the acquisition of right-of-way by December, get approval from TDOT on the right-of-way by the end of January, advertise and bid in March, Receive the bids in April next year, approval of the bids in May, contract and notice to proceed in June, and complete construction by the end of December of '22. And I like TDOT, we work well with them, but sometimes wheels move slow with getting projects through TDOT, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Multimodal, speaking of which, we are waiting on TDOT to give us the notice to proceed on that. The bid books are pretty much ready to go on that, and so once we get the notice to proceed, we'll be able to start construction on this project. Well, and bid on the project and then start the construction on the project. I also, when I had a conference call with TDOT, we spoke about the, is it the American Recovery Act? American Rescue Plan. Okay. One of those. About, because we know we can use our allocation towards stormwater. It's like 4 very specific things, as you all know, it can be used for, and for us, about the only one that would suffice would be stormwater. So I've spoke to TDOT about incorporating the money in for stormwater, which we were going to have to pay out of general fund for the multimodal that we were doing on Ringo Road. So that's a big help as well. So we're looking for doing that. Paving. You can blame, I won't blame, but WWTA has still had delays dealing with working on some of their projects. The sewer rehab project that runs along I-75 that goes under Ringo Road over there by Wally's and Life Care has had delays with the boring to go under Ringo Road. That project's also part of the Hilton Drive main replacement project. We've been working to time these projects so that the Hilton Drive replacement would finish and McDonald and Hilton could be paved. I'm not going to pave a road and then have WWTA tear it up a month later. So we've been waiting, but we're now at the point where we're going to at least get with the contractor to see if we can go ahead and pave McDonald and Hilton up to where that anticipated cut might be. So try to get part of that done on the front end. So we're hoping we can do that as well. We've also had a quick survey done down there at where is it? At State Line Road by Empire, Empire Drive and all that area down there. And we found out when you look at the Hamilton County maps, when you look at Google Maps and everything else, they keep showing the state line is on the south side of the road. Well, the state line goes down the middle of the road. So we will really have a problem trying to close that road without an agreement from Catoosa County. So we're still trying to figure out what we can do about that, and I don't know if there's much we can do because it goes down the middle of that road. I think that is it for now, but I'll have more when we get to other items on the agenda.
Have we reached out to Catoosa County to see what their stance is on that road?
No. But I know there's a lot of development that's going on right there now. And so, trying to get them to close it may be a lost cause, but we will reach out to them and see.
Okay.
Oh, and liquor stores. Sorry, there was one more thing. I have spoken with the owner of the store that is going in down by CVS, and their plan is to have the liquor store open hopefully by Thanksgiving. The one on the end of Spring Creek, as you know, they've already bulldozed the site, demolished everything on the site. They've already turned in some plans to our codes department, building codes and everything else. They're reviewing those, and part of that has to go to another reviewer, and don't know when they're going to be starting on that one, but that's the update on both of those at this point.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Under old business, we have nothing listed on the agenda. However, is there any old business we need to take action on?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to remove the discussion of the dog park off the table, please.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt to bring the dog park discussion off the table. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Since the last meeting, we
Oh,
tried to.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm so
didn't know you wanna
sorry.
do a
I
vote
needed to
on
vote.
it? Okay.
Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor
Thank you.
Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Now proceed. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Today we had a meeting with Mr. Harrison Forbes, representative from the Dog Dash. We had a virtual meeting with Chris, City Manager Chris Dorsey, and Cameron McAllister, the person, that he's not here tonight, but he's the individual who's responsible for the application, thanks to him. And so during the meeting, we were out at the alternate dog site looking at the field there. And just, I think it was a great meeting. We had spent about 15, 20 minutes on the video call with him. And so basically just showing him the location, giving him the reasons why I would like to have that dog park down here at City Hall opposed to the other location. And in discussion with him, he couldn't agree more. He actually, during the end of the conversation, he said that it actually would be a better location. He wrote me an email, which I had forwarded over to the city manager. I printed it off, and I spread it through the dais here. If you can see the email, I highlighted a couple that sentences there in the email where he basically says that he does feel like it was a better alternative. And then towards the end of the email there, he says, on behalf of the Dog Park Dash team, we are in favor of this site. So I think our city manager here think that was enough written official green light that we could use the dog park grant to go towards the construction of the dog park down here at City Hall. So with that, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say, but I would like to make a motion. And my motion would be that we use the $25,000 dog grant to go towards the construction of the dog park down here at City Hall.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? I'll
A
second.
second for purposes of discussion.
Yes.
The people who have contacted me are not wanting us to.
Yeah, we got to vote.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Discussion won't occur till we have the
We have a motion and a second.
Excuse me, sorry.
Did you have discussion?
Somebody second for discussion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He made the motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Proceed.
Okay. The people who have contacted me are still wanting it at Springvale. And so that's the reason that I'm not opposed to it being here. It may be a better site, but I've got citizens that would prefer it down there. When you look at it here, this is to me is a business area. You've got the parking here around City Hall. We're gonna have parking problems. And now I'm not a dog owner, but my neighbors are. And I live on a corner. And when the dogs are walking by, or people are walking by, the dogs in the neighborhood all go wild and they're all barking. You're gonna have this right outside City Hall, where if Chris is in there having a meeting with somebody, is he going to have loud noises of dogs out there? Here again, I'm not against it, but I just want to make sure that we understand that if we move it here, what we're getting into. It's going to be a parking issue. You're going to have, I mean, I've never really been to a dog park, so are there a lot of dogs at the dog park at the same time? Because if they are, when they walk by my neighbor's dogs, I mean, it is very noisy, okay? So is the noise going to affect the work here of the people? Will they be able to hear it? So that's what I wanted to get those questions answered. Can someone answer those questions for me?
I've got a comment too from the citizens. I don't know how to put this because I'm not going to put it the way they put it to me. But I'm going to put it this way as nice as I can. They're worried about the dog poop out there, even though they clean it up behind them. Where are they going to put it? We're going to have a dog poop waste can over here. They worry about the flies, the mosquitoes, and the smell of urine that's left out there in the grass, because I can tell you about the dogs that come up my street to go around the telephone pole out there that smells that other dog, and around my mailbox post, grass don't grow there. So, the poop out here and the urine smell attracting the flies and the mosquitoes and stuff, that was the thing that I had brought to my attention, so.
And something that I mentioned to City Manager Dorsey is we have our National Night Out there. And last year, we used the whole bit of the land. We did have animals out there. And so how's that going to affect how we use it when we're having things like, events like that? And he brought up a point about the smell. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not totally against it. I just want you to know that the citizens that contacted me prefer that we have it on Springvale.
Our National Night Out is one day out of the year.
But it's an important day out.
Sure it is. I think we could probably find an alternate site for that. We still have all that other property, that big field out there that I originally wanted it. I'm sure it'll be there for a while. As far as the poop stations, well, poop smell, we will have stations where dogs can be responsible for picking up their feces and putting it in a
Dog
garbage
owners.
can.
The dog owners,
The dog owners, yes.
dog,
And we're, that's going to happen whether it be down here at City Hall or at Springvale, the barking and what have you. But the one thing I tell you, it's not going to come without its responsibilities. But again, we as a city, we want this area to be a centralized location for our citizens. It's a quality of life. We have the splash pad going in, we've got the playground going in, we've got the rec center, we've got the library. Just to have all these amenities right here located centrally, right here at City Hall, just makes more sense to me than spending $35, $45, probably might end up being more than $50,000 in a dog park down at Springvale that's in the flood zone, that is not monitored by city employees. It doesn't already have the presence of people walking just in general already down here at City Hall. I've been down here at City Hall probably a dozen times more than in the last 2 months than I have in the last, probably since I've lived here. And I see people down here walking their dogs already. Again, like we're going to have the splash pad and the playground that's going to be up and running here soon. But, like I said, it's not going to come without its responsibilities. It's going to have its pros and cons. But, when it's all said and done, I think the citizens of East Ridge will really appreciate having it down here at City Hall.
I like the idea of having two. I think that, having one that's down at the other original area is a good thing. We don't have any currently. I do think this is a town center concept we want to put together here, which you'll have the splash pad, the Pioneer Frontier rebuilt, community center. To the Vice Mayor's point, we see people walking their dogs here all the time. So, again, there are responsibility that goes along. But I am in favor of having a dog park here centrally located, and also one at having two. So to say we can't have two, we have none. So, one is great, two I think would be even better. So that's my thoughts on it. I have several dogs and we enjoy walking so we have any other discussion? Please, go ahead and clarify.
And just for clarification, we did have the motion, and then Councilwoman Witt, when you second, it is a second. She wanted for discussion, and that's what triggers the discussion. And so that was what I brought up earlier. But so we've got the first and the second. Just because you vote for a motion, or for first, you don't have to vote for it, as you may know. But I wanted to clarify from the second, for purposes of discussion, that's what happens on it. So, all right, so we're ready. If there's no more discussion, there'll need to be a roll call.
Can I make a motion to amend the motion just to table this till the next meeting?
So we have a motion, need a second on that. And that will end all discussion at this point.
I'll second it.
Okay, so let's have a roll call on that.
All right, so we have a motion to
Table,
table
second.
by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Mayor Williams. Roll call, Ms. Miller.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Well, personally, I'd like to go ahead and get it resolved, so I'm gonna vote no.
Councilmember Witt,
Well, here again, I'm not totally opposed to it. I do like the idea of the two. So I will vote yes this time.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. So that has been tabled. All right, any other old business? You're done. All right, we'll move to new business. Item A, ordinance number 1150.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to set the property tax rate above the certified tax rate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, we have a couple things to hand out for you all. We received the certified tax rate from the property assessor. And our rate, one, two, three.
It's usually me that does that.
I know. This is the actual calculation sheet. The rate went from 1.3381 to 0.9929 is what our certified tax rate has gone to. With that being said, in June, we also, at the end of our budget, we proposed some amendments that we needed for our budget. If I got too many, let me know.
I think there was too many on that one.
To refresh everybody's memory from the end of June. And with the amendments that we did at that point, we went through and as you know, we had a long set of budget hearing where we talked about the needs of the city and some of the things that were needed within the city. At the end of that, we went through and looked at what some of those items were, and the amendments, just to refresh everybody's memory, we reduced in our budget the library by $20,000. We had too much in that salary line because they actually combined two of the part-time positions. Parks and general recreation, they needed $30,000 to be able to spread more part-time to help man the weekends and rotate those dates between employees. We reduced by $51,800 the funding from one old position that was from the East Ridge High School fields to help fund that. In traffic control, we added $51,800 for a traffic laborer in the traffic department, which is needed for painting, signs, signal inspections, things of that nature they'd fallen behind on. The police department, criminal investigations, we had $125,000 we added for 2 officers for our police chief. General government, under Hamilton County Ambulance Service, we added $170,000 for the opportunity to be able to transfer our ambulance service from the private providers, which we started to have problems with, over to the Hamilton County EMS, and that $170,000 is the amount we're going to have to pay per year for 4 years as a quote-unquote startup cost, dealing with that. We have $200,000 that we have put into paving to combine with the $500,000 in State Street aid to work on some of the worst sections of roadway in the city. And then the last item we had was $600,000 we put in for what I called salary pool stabilization to help stabilize the eroding salary structure within the city. This money will be used to stabilize salaries to be comparable to other area cities in aid in job retention and recruitment. And it's funny we did this in June because since June, you have had Red Bank come out and say that they were having to put money in for salary stabilization. You had Signal Mountain come out and say they were putting money in for salary stabilization. And the city of Chattanooga put in for $30 million for salary stabilization within the city of Chattanooga, increasing the salaries for CDL drivers, for police and fire. And where do you think some of those trained personnel may come from? Other municipalities. So with our $600,000 number we had, that was before Chattanooga even did anything. We didn't even know they were going to do that, but we had an idea that there were problems in this area, and we meet with the other city. I meet with the other city managers on a regular basis to discuss issues and to look at trends and things that are going on. And we knew this was going to be a problem for us. It's already been a problem. I think in the last 4 months, we've lost 8 employees. I think that's the correct number, Ms. Senegalio, correct? So with that being said, it was very important for me to come to this council in June to get the council's commitment to move forward with some sort of salary stabilization. And so we put our heads together, and we were able to come up using a specific system of a certain amount, just as an average per employee, even though that's not how it's going to work out. Some employees may get more, some may get less, to be able to get to that middle percentile across the spectrum that we have. And going through that, multiplying out the hours and the year, we came up with 650,000, but we shaved it down to 600,000 to be able to get to our 1.1 million. That may not end up being enough, but that's what we have for the moment to go with. And so that's what we did. Michelle Senegalio spent an inordinate amount of time since June working on the various departments that we have, looking at salaries from admin, court, building and codes, police, fire, streets, traffic, library, building maintenance, parks and rec, and animal control, and sanitation. She did a fantastic job on this, and it's still not all the way done. But I want to share where we are at this moment with this. 1, 2, 3. I'll give Janet hers. Everybody have one? So going through this is where we stand at the moment. And in addition to your salary adjustments, you also have to we have to pay Social Security and Medicare, which we call FICA, which is 7.65%. We also have to add retirement, which is 10%. With those numbers, as you can see, for the 68,000 admin, 36,000 court, 29,000 building and codes, 161,000 police, 140 fire, 68,000 streets, 1,600 for traffic, 19, and I'm rounding, 19,000 for library, 24 for building maintenance, 38 for parks and rec, 33 for animal control. That already gets us to 620,000. And that number was her first glimpse, just finding out yesterday about what Chattanooga was going to do. So she very quickly went through and tried to plug those numbers in. She needs more time to be able to do a better analysis. Now we know more about Chattanooga, but that's where we stand right now. Sanitation, since it's in its own fund, we have that at the bottom at 51,000. Now, these are approximate numbers. That doesn't mean I'm guaranteeing this is the exact amount that's going to go in each department. But this is through the hard work of Ms. Senegalio that we're at this point so far, and I appreciate everything she's done to get us to that. It was very important to make sure we had council commitment on the front end. I have been in cities where we have done salary surveys, salary studies. We come back with a number and council goes, oh, we can't afford it. We're not doing anything. That doesn't work. And we're not a private business where we can just at any time look at the salaries of our employees and decide to fund them. Private businesses can raise the prices on their products. They can go out and restaurants can change the prices on their menus. We only have one time a year to get this right, and that one time is during the budget season and when we set our tax rate. That's why it's very important. We're not a business. We don't sell things for profit. We are here to provide services for our citizens based on the amount of revenue we are able to bring in. We have seen things, I won't get too deep into this, on social media about how irresponsible we are to do this right now without having a study first. We have done the study. If the study came in a lot lower, I would have talked about that today. but it hasn't. We have an idea of where this needs to go. We are not a business. I have a master's degree. My master's is not in business administration. My master's is in public administration. There is a difference between running the public and private sectors. We are doing the best job we can running the public sector here. We are not perfect. Trust me, we will all make mistakes. We do make mistakes. But we have spent a very inordinate amount of time looking at this, trying to do what's right for our employees, trying to work on retention and recruitment, and to help our employees stay competitive with the public and private sectors as best as possible as we can with the city. Having said that, that's why we have the $600,000 in there, which is all I think we can afford at this moment. If you add all that up, that gets you to that $1,105,000 that we talked about. With that, if you look at the certified tax rate, and we know that this, and I forgot one piece of paper, that's what I get. The certified tax rate talks about, we know how much the .9929 is. Now, that .29 means absolutely nothing. If you remember at one of the meetings we had earlier, I asked the property assessor why you go so far with your numbers. And he said that's the way their calculations go. Well, they can only bill dollars and cents. So all they like our rate right now was 1.3381. Well, all we could bill was $1.33. So we were losing almost a penny of property tax every time we bill. And they say you can't round up, you have to round down. So I still understand why they have those extra 2 digits, but that's a conflict between the county and state. So our number is going down to .9929, as I said. In order to fund everything we talked about, a penny comes out when you take 94% of the $4.86 million that we received this last year is what we actually received in property taxes. And some of that was because of some of the house selling that was going on. So we were able to recover more money than we probably would have anyway because of all the house sellings and everything they have to do to collect on those taxes. So with that, we go from we take the $4,860,000, you take 94%, which is your collection rate. That brings you down, and I apologize, I don't have the piece of paper with me, I can go get it if I need to, but that brings us down a little bit. You take that number, and then you multiply that by the 1.1 million, and that brings you just shy, it was like 24.2 cents is what it brings you, is what the needed revenue would be to cover that 1.1 million that we went through during our budget season. That is why on the ordinance that you have in front of you, we have the discussion, because when you raise your property tax rate, you have a discussion and you have a public hearing on it. We will have the public hearing in 2 weeks for the citizens to discuss on this. But I want to make sure everybody knew how we got to the numbers, why we're at the numbers we're at, and are there any questions?
Do we want to go ahead and get a motion and a second?
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1150.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Discussion.
Yes, sir. I missed the budget hearings due to my heart problems I had. Okay. So I wasn't there. And then when we brought this up, I asked to have it tabled till we find out what the state certified rate was, and so didn't get a second on it. So since then, the .9929 breaks us even with his first budget he put in front of the 15.7.
Before the amendment, yes.
Right.
Because they say that brings you back to being revenue neutral.
Right, okay. So then a week later, or 2 weeks later, then you brought the extra million up, I call a wish list. That raised our budget to what, 16.7, 16.8, okay? And the way that, I've just calculated these tax increase on my own properties, okay? And One of my pieces of properties, I'm gonna have to rent, my house payment will be going up about $20 per month. That's for the property tax increase. Then plus, what they've got the property valued at, my insurance will be going up to cover the cost of my property if something happens. So that's gonna be added back onto this piece of property. Then I've gotta add it to the person that's renting the house, that I can break even. And then here I am, a poor old senior citizen on a fixed income. And on my house, it goes up about $230 a year on the property tax. So, and then luckily, it don't go up on the payment because I don't have a payment, but it will go up drastically on my insurance, that I will have to start budgeting the plus amount for the property tax, plus amount for the thing. And the senior citizens, some of these people, I just don't know how it's gonna afford a property tax increase, because I'm gonna give you an example of how much my appraisal and assessments went up on my house. Went up from 172.9 to 257.6. That's a big jump. The appraisal, I mean, the assessment went from 43 to 64. That's a big jump. So, and my rental house was worse than that on what they went up in the assessment. So, these people out here that's buying these houses, renting these houses, I feel sorry for the people that's renting them, because it's gonna have to go up on them. They're having trouble meeting their rent now. So, I just can't see it myself, and that's the end of it.
On a $100,000 house, to go to $1.25 would be an annual change of $64.28. You can extrapolate from there. So a $200,000 house becomes $128 for a year. 175, which Chattanooga likes to use, is $112 a year. So that's the difference in that amount. We haven't raised taxes in East Ridge in over 10 years. A lot of the other cities already have. Now, you know, I don't consider the 1.1 million a wish list. It's needs that this city has and that we've been doing without. We have some things we didn't put in there. Thank goodness we found money to buy police cars. For the last 10 years, since there has been a tax increase, stands behind 15 police cars that he needs. 15, because nobody bought them, because there was no money to buy them. And now we're at the point where half of them are falling apart. Sorry, but they are falling apart, and we're having issues with that equipment. Part of what we have to do is provide services, and every year the service costs go up. And, you know, we were very, very particular when we went through the budget, and that's why I had every department head come to explain to the council the needs that they had, not necessarily the wishes, but the needs they had and what we need to try to be able to provide good quality services to our citizens. Now, you know, if we don't want to go up, the council can talk about what services they would like to cut for our citizens. But I pride East Ridge on the fact that we do a great job with what we have, with helping the citizens that are in this city.
Let me
That's
ask
all
you
I
this
have.
question. All right, when you brought us that first budget that was balanced, that was there, and you said no property tax increase, did we cut any services in that budget?
In that budget, we did the amendment at the
Go back.
second reading of the budget. The amendment was done during the budget. During the budget hearings. That's when we did the amendments, because when I presented it that first night, I said that when we go through the hearings, we will be having talks with all of the other departments, because at that point, it's vital to have city council input on what happens with the rest of that budget. It's not up to me just to throw it all in there on the front end and say, here's a budget that's $3 million out of balance, what do y'all want to do? So we started with a balanced budget, and then we had the departments come in one by one, sit down with the council, and talk about the issues that they had within their departments and the needs they had. And that's why we had that $1.1 million amendment when we had the readings of the budget.
Correct me if I'm wrong, state law, it has to be balanced.
Yes.
So
After training a
we
balanced
had to balance, the first reading that was presented had to be balanced. And then we had the workshop that all these needs that came in, and then it was trimmed down, and it was trimmed down to 1.1 million that was presented and passed by the council. And I don't know if services will, well, let me back up. So with the increase of, let me back up. This has not been an easy discussion, thoughts.
I'm just
I've
sorry I
been-
missed the budget meetings, you know.
Well,
just
we
glad
reported
you're
them.
healthy.
I thought you had an opportunity to watch them.
I wasn't in no mood to watch them with what I had going
Okay,
on.
okay.
And the second meeting was canceled, so
Yeah, because we got through it all in the first meeting. This has not been an easy, I've been toying with this for a while. I mean, this is not easy, but I do know that not only have we lost, I think I heard you say 5, 8. How many, I also know that we've had how many positions that we can't even get filled that are out there that's posted, and we can't get anyone to take, and it's going to get worse. If we have these other municipalities that are raising their salary, they're doing a salary stabilization similar to us, you know, and I think that's what you may have been alluding to. We may have to cut services. I mean, look what Chattanooga did. They had to cut recycle out because they didn't have drivers. I mean, we lose all our drivers. How are we going to pick up garbage, pick up recycle?
This week, for instance, real quick, I'm sorry,
All
just
right.
because you mentioned recycling. We've had, and Robert Parker's not here today, we have 5 trucks that were all down this week. We picked up garbage with 2 one-armed bandits, and we used a brush truck to pick up garbage to make sure we were able to get the garbage up for our citizens this week. A brush truck.
So, you know, 10 years ago, yes, I've heard it's been 10 years since we had a property tax increase, and that is accurate. I don't think any of us can go out and buy anything for the same price we did 10 years ago. Everything has went up. Councilman Cagle, I definitely understand and have been wrestling with that. I do think that the tax, you know, if we do adopt this, it's going to increase to City Manager Dorsey's statement. You know, a $200,000 home is going to be right around $125, which is, you know, $10. And I'm trying to make light of it. I know it's not easy, but it's around $10, $11 a month. Concerning the insurance, though, just because the property value went up, your insurance is going to go up. It don't have anything to do with the tax rate. So just when that property value went up, that the tax rate's not going to impact plus or minus on the insurance rate that you're going to have to pay. That's came along with the reassessment. You know, we need more officers. We need more equipment. We have not had what's the word I'm looking for? We've talked about this.
Like an equipment replacement program
Yes.
or anything.
I mean, you know, unfortunately, we haven't had that in the past, and we're having to deal with that. This current council's having to deal with that we've got 15 cars needed for police. We've got a fire engine that's going to be needed next year. You know, we were lucky enough to find a ladder truck for a very reasonable price and jumped on it quickly and was able to get, you know, a ladder that has been desperately needed for a year or so, or longer. So, paving, we dropped $200,000 in paving. You know, I drive these roads every day, and I get frustrated, and I call city manager and say, when are we going to do something about this hole? When are we going to do something about this street? And, you know, it's $200,000 in that amendment, along with the $700 we've already got allocated, and we're wanting to roll out a paving schedule to start addressing these. Again, there has not been a schedule in the past to address these on a regular basis. So we, as this council, are having to deal with this. So, I mean, just some of the things that I've been wrestling with, and I'll let someone else interject if they'd like. Any other discussion?
I agree, we hadn't had a property tax in how many years, you said?
Dan?
10? No, we've had a property tax reduction. So, I mean, it's went from, since 2012, from $1.4227 down to the $1.3382. And we have, the city has managed, and then I understand about the losing of the police and stuff, but at one time, we done a salary adjustment for the police department because of the same reason y'all are quoting now. Other departments are being paid more. At that time, we were not the highest paid, but the second or third highest paid, because people was quitting there and coming to here. But then, I cannot see anybody leaving East Ridge going to Chattanooga to be a policeman because of the number of shootings going on down there every day and night versus what goes on out here. So, I'm through talking about it, and,
Anyone else? All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Roll call, Ms. Middleton?
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
no,
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1150 passed first reading. To city manager's point, there will be a public hearing. There will be a second reading, which could be amended. So just wanted to remember the formality that we still have a second reading and a public
Mayor,
hearing.
may I say something? I know all of y'all got the copy of this letter. I'm gonna read it. Will I be able to read it at the public hearing?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. We'll move to item B, Resolution 3175.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving photography bids for the 2020-2021 sports season.
Yes, Mayor and Council, bids for sports photography for 2021-22 athletic season were open on August 3rd. We received one qualified bid. School Days Photography has agreed to pay the city 30% commission on our sports photography, and staff recommends awarding School Days Photography the commission or the bid for the 21-22 season.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I'm sorry, Mayor, I should have read it correctly. The caption should have said 2021-2022 sports season. Mr. Wilson's correct. So just in case there's any confusion, this is for the 2021-2022 season.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3175.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 3175.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. This is for baseball, softball, football.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about soccer, since soccer's gonna actually be put in the control of the Red Wolves? Are these pictures gonna be with the, in other words, is this photographer gonna be able to take the pictures of the thing and pay us the 30%?
Typically, our rec season is all of the kids that sign up to play with the City of East Ridge, but the travel soccer program is through the Red Wolves, and they would be separate from this.
Well, I read somewhere that they're gonna be taking over the recreation.
That may be the case in the future, but currently, the rec program is still under the City of East Ridge.
Rec program stays with East Ridge and the pitchers stay with East Ridge, but all the travel teams and the tournament team
Yes,
stay
sir.
with the Red Wolves.
Yeah, currently it's separate. That there may be a day where it comes together, but right now it is separate.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes,
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3175 passed. Move to item C, Resolution number 3176.
I'll get that corrected. I apologize on the 3175. I should have caught that. And that was the wrong date I had on that one, Mayor. So we'll get that fixed. All right. C, 3176, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the appointment to the East Ridge Planning Commission. Mayor Williams' appointment.
Thanks, sir. I want to go ahead and mention that this is a single appointment tonight. We did have a resignation from a gentleman that, due to health reasons, is coming off the Planning Commission, and also another commission. So that is now being advertised as well, so this appointment is only for a single person. There'll be another one on, you'll notice on your agenda for the next meeting for that other position that's opening up because of the resignation.
Will these applications still be good for that one?
It's within the same time frame, I would assume so.
I didn't write the ordinance.
Yeah, I don't know that we really addressed it. I think it would be, but how many do we have that have applied? Do we know? If
Three.
okay, then if nothing else, if they just want to reaffirm that, you know, they don't have to reapply it, they just can
If it's someone-
reaffirm their application, I think that will resolve it.
Okay. So I just wanted to mention that. So my appointment is going to be Dana Howe, who is currently on the planning commission. She wants to be, she wants to continue, and I think she's doing a great job. So my appointment is Dana Howe. So I will entertain a motion for resolution 3176.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion from Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item D, resolution 3177.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the appointment to the East Ridge Housing Commission. This will be Vice Mayor Chauncey's appointment.
Yes,
sir.
Mayor Council. My appointment is going to be Miss Amanda Jo Davis. Amanda Jo Davis is, she has an extensive career and 20-plus years in property management, so I think she'd make a great addition to the Housing Commission Board. She wanted to be here tonight, but she's actually graduating from the Citizens Police Academy, so I'm excited to have her aboard. And I wanted to thank all the other applicants who, I mean, it was actually kind of tough. There was a couple applicants there that was actually put a lot of thought into this, so, and I'll,
Thank you, sir. All right, I'll entertain a motion for resolution 3177.
make a motion to approve 3177.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Cagle and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Move to item E, resolution 3178.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the appointment to the East Ridge Housing Commission. This would be a nomination of Councilman Cagle.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to nominate Kenneth Rogers. He is in the audience if someone wants to ask questions.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for resolution 3178.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 3178.
I'll second.
So I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item F, resolution 3179.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase a Turfco CR8 wide-span top dresser from Lads of Memphis using the Tennessee Department of General Services statewide contract listing number 66045 pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 12-3-1201B.
Yes, Mayor and Council, our current top dresser in the park is about 20 years old. We use it every year to top dress and spread sand on our athletic fields. We actually just completed doing that for the year, and we had to revive the current one about 4 times over the last 3 weeks. So we're requesting to purchase a new one from Lads of Tennessee under state contract in the amount of $14,713.20.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3179.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir. This was presented at the budget workshop. So was this approved during the budget workshop?
The funding was approved, but he still has to come to council for the purchase because it's over 10,000.
Here it's listed as 18,000, so was the funding 18,000 or 14,000?
I assume,
We ended up finding a different one that we liked
Yeah.
that was actually a little bit cheaper.
It's not the same one you got in here.
I believe that one was more, and it was like, I think we were looking at one from Kubota, and it was originally 18,000. This one here was, from Lads, and it was
Well,
cheaper.
this one here is from Lads in here, but you've got also another part ordered with it for the total of 18.
Yes, sir. That one may have had an accessory that we ended up not needing, so,
Yeah,
the total
cross
price.
conveyor attachment.
Correct, yeah. I believe that is the same one, just minus the attachment.
So this was budgeted?
yes.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? I have one item. So this is coming out of Memphis, so what's the plan on transportation? Is it gonna be shipped, or we have to go pick it up?
No, they bring it to us. We actually just bought the Trimax mower from them, and they brought it to us.
Okay,
You remember about 6-8 weeks ago, we bought a pull-behind mower, and they brought it to us.
okay, so no delivery fee, awesome. Thanks, sir. All right,
Has
Roll
the
call.
tractor already been delivered?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We've already been using it.
roll call, Ms. Middleton?
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. We'll move to item G, resolution number 3180.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Pyro Shows, Inc. for a fireworks display for the city's centennial.
Thank you. This is, well, obviously, as City Attorney Litchford just said, this is for the fireworks for the night of the centennial. The amount came to $10,000 to be able to do this. They're planning on firing them off over near the canoe launch. And we do have a sponsorship for this, and that's the Red Wolves, because they're going to do it in conjunction with soccer, one of the soccer matches. That's that same night. So they were gracious enough to be a sponsor for this for us. About it.
Thanks, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 3180.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 3180.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton?
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item H, resolution number 3181.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend use of the Camp Jordan RV Park and Campground.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Over the last, really probably 18 months, we have had a lot of requests to open up more of the RV camping sites, mainly just explosion of RV camping across the entire country. We were aware of a couple of resolutions, or we became aware of a couple of resolutions a couple of years ago that closed sections 2 and 3 of the RV campground because of some water leaks. We're coming to you tonight to ask if we can amend resolutions 2917 and 2731 to give staff the authority to rent out sections 2 and 3 for weekend use for athletic events and special events such as tournaments, festivals, fairs, arena trade shows, or concerts. This would not be for long-term use. This would just be mainly for weekend use or any type of special events such as Get Off the Grid Fest, or if we had like an expo or athletic tournament that started on a Wednesday and went through Sunday, because we get a lot of reservations off of tournaments. And so that's what this request is for.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, if I may, I had some concerns about the RV parking over there that we had. We had some not so nice looking campers that were over there, to put it politely. And it was not a very good scene to be able to, to look at when you're driving into Camp Jordan from that side. I told Adam that one thing I wanted to look at for this is to make sure that, A, people that come in and camp are there because they have a purpose for being in Camp Jordan. Not for people going up and down the interstate just to pull in to camp for the night or camp for the week, whatever, and leave. I want to make sure this is just for people that are here for an event at Camp Jordan. Number two, we know we have, some spots, like I said, row 1, I'll call it section 1, 2, and 3. Section 1 is the one that's right up by the actual pavilion.
Correct.
Which I've been told was built for RVs. That's why there's showers in there. That's why there's, in the bathrooms and all those sorts of things. In some cases, we've had some events where RVs have been blocking, because they had the spot, an area that somebody renting the pavilion thought that they could use. We have talked about trying to find a way to accommodate that, to maybe leave a couple of the spots right around the pavilion open, put a little grass in there, make it look nicer and more inviting for people that do rent it when we don't have RVs there. I've asked Adam to also make sure we don't have people parking in the front one that's in the grass anymore. It just doesn't look, it's unsightly, and it is. The good thing about people coming in that are just here for events, for the most part, they're going to have nice campers. They're coming in to watch their kids play an athletic event, with the exception of Get Off the Grid and the others, which they'll be in here for a little bit longer time. But we shouldn't have people there in the park camping if there's not an event going on. Now, they may come the night before the event starts, but that's still in conjunction with an event. I also talked to Adam about trying to add some screening for the front of the, oh, look at that. He's got little pictures.
Yeah, so over the last couple of days, I've called around a couple of landscape companies that I've dealt with in the past, and a couple of them have recommended maybe planting some cryptomeria trees. They look like this right here. They're an evergreen. They look like Leland cypresses, but they actually do not hold disease as much as Leland cypress. This is one option. So we thought about maybe planting those down the road, along Camp Jordan Road, just to kind of block off the campground. There's a couple of other options here that we looked at that I'd like to share with the city manager before we proceed. But we're looking at ways to maybe dress it up and maybe make it look a lot better over there.
And the other thing in the resolution, sections 2 and 3, by reading the old resolution from I think it was March of 2019 before I got here, sections 2 and 3 had water leak problems and things of that nature. We're not advocating to fix those water leaks. We said that sections 2 and 3 would be just for electrical hookup only.
Right. Many of the people that are trying to reserve, they don't even care about the water. Some of the newer, nicer RVs, they can fill up their water on their RV, and they can move around to anywhere. They just need a place to park and hook up to electrical outlets. So that's what we get a lot of requests for, is like, hey, we don't care about water. Let us park in the, sections 2 and 3, and it's not a big deal to us. So that's one of the reasons we're asking for an amendment to this ordinance.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3181.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Got a question?
We have a, motion by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Yes, sir, go ahead.
All right, the campsites without water, what are you proposing to rent those for?
We currently rent those for $20 per night. We rent the ones with water for $25 per night.
Okay. That is, are all the campers able to park at the ones that we rent for $25 a night? Because some of them, I don't know what our amperages are down there on the plug-ins.
We have 30 amp connections, and if you have a 50 amp, you can reduce it down to 30 with it's some type of adapter, yes.
So we won't have no problems with power amp trailers shortening out our 30 amp breaker boxes.
We haven't yet, because they use their adapter, and it's meant for that type of connection. They just connect their 50 to a 30 and then plug into our 30.
20 to 25 is cheap to me.
It is. We actually raised the rate last summer. It was just flat $20 across, and I said, well, I think we need to charge more if we're providing water and power. So we went up a little bit. We could always.
We may evaluate those rates too and bring it back to council.
Yeah.
One more question. Is this going to be RV camping only, no tents?
Currently, it is RV camping only unless there's a special event like Get Off the Grid Festival or Bugapalooza, then we allow tents. But it has to be pre-approved. We only allow RVs. We did have, I think I told City Manager Dorsey, we had a tent show up over the weekend, and we were going to come in Monday and ask them to leave, but they had already left. But there's a homeless camp to the back side of the RV park, and sometimes we get those migrate over to the park.
Well, I just seen, well, one event you had down there, campers tents were coming out of the campers, and they were all over the backside back there, and it looked like a dump. And then some of them even out there in the grass. So I just like to see it with no tents, just RV camping. My thought.
It makes sense. I just know for those two large festivals, maybe we just grant it, like he said, grant exceptions just for that, for the Bugapalooza and for the Get Off the Grid.
It's mainly for their staff. The way we understand it, it's their staff comes in, and they're actually going to be coming in, I think, Sunday on Get Off the Grid, and they'll be here all week planning for their festival that'll start on Friday. So most of it's staff, our understanding.
Any other discussion? I'll add to that, City Manager Dorsey covered a lot of what I was going to bring up, probably because he's heard it from me numerous times. I'm not against RV camping. I've considered mine one myself, but at times down there, it looked terrible. Just gonna be honest with you. It looked absolutely terrible. And if this council approves this, I'm going to expect it to be managed. We don't need RVs in the grass. I don't need them backed up against the pavilion, because we had a major sponsor, Ronald McDonald House, and it caused a problem with their event. So that's all that I asked is, if we're going to do this, let's manage it. Let's make it presentable and be proud of what we have. So that's about all that I'll add to that. So no other discussion. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to item I, Resolution 3182.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge to approve the agreement with Compass Auctions and Real Estate for selling surplus property.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Allen was going to talk about this, but I told him he needed to get over to the Citizens Police Academy banquet he was having, so I told him I would handle this for him. With this, we have, right now we sell things on GovDeals. That's one of the places we're able to sell surplus property. Compass Auctions is another over there off of Amnicola Highway, which we can also utilize to sell surplus property. And Chief Allen wants us to try to see how things go with them. And he has a very optimistic view of Compass Auctions and the people that come to buy cars and come to buy other items that we have. And he wants to go ahead and give us a try. There's no upfront cost to us to use this. This just gives us permission to be able to take some of the surplus from the police department and from any department and be able to go to Compass Auctions and have it sold. That just gives us another venue to be able to generate revenue with out-of-date and obsolete items we have and confiscated items that the police department gets.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3182.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Are there anyone else in town that we might could get a quote to get a better percentage of the, no, I read it wrong. They're just charging us 10%. Right, okay, yeah, I read it wrong. I'm sorry, I read it wrong.
Well,
I do know Stan looked around at other places, and this is, I mean, there's not very many that can do this, and they are a very successful auction company. So Chief Allen, he did his homework.
thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes,
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item J, resolution number 3183.
This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to approve the agreement with Chattanooga Red Wolves Academy for Camp Jordan soccer field utilization and programming.
Thank you. I have talked with the owner of the Chattanooga Red Wolves, Mr. Martino, and with Derek Green, who's the vice president with this. We have a lot of the agreement chiseled out. There's just one or two questions that we'd like to make sure that we take our time and get it right to move forward with this. So I would hope that I could get someone from council to move for a postponement or a tabling of this for 2 weeks, please.
make a motion to table this for 2 weeks.
I'll second.
Thank you. I've got a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey to table Resolution 3183. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
yes,
Councilmember Witt,
Yes,
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, that's all the items we have on the current agenda. So under item K, discussion of tentative agenda items for August the 26th, 2021. We will have a discussion of the centennial celebration by our two not sponsors, our co-chairmen.
Yes.
Then under old business, we will have the public hearing for ordinance number 1150, the certified tax rate ordinance. And then following that, we'll have the second and final reading of ordinance number 1150, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to set the property tax rate above the certified tax rate. Any discussion on with that? See none? Under new business, there's an unnumbered resolution, RFP for sanitation disposable services.
Thank you. We have the RFP for sanitation disposal. As you know, we just opened that last week. We are going to go out and do our due diligence and go check out the facility and then be able to work on a agreement with them and bring that forward to council at the proper time in 2 weeks. I'm sure City Attorney Litchford is good with the agreement beforehand.
Any questions, council? Item B is another unnumbered resolution, RFQ for engineering services.
Same thing, we had RFQ for the engineering services for the area, for the entrances, for the Red Wolves complex out there. We are still evaluating those. Michael Howe was off last week, so myself, Diane, and Michael are going to review the RFQs and bring a recommendation to the council at the next meeting.
on both ends.
Yes.
Any other questions? Next is another unnumbered resolution, appointment to Planning Commission, Mayor Williams. I'll go ahead and read the next, and then the next is a unnumbered resolution for appointment to Zoning Appeals Board, Vice Mayor Chauncey. These two positions or appointments are due to an existing resident that's on both of these boards that turned in their resignation due to health reasons. So we'll need to appoint these two vacant positions. Any discussions? Then, as item E is another unnumbered resolution, the annual bids for street department materials.
We received these bids last week, or a little week ago as well. We are analyzing these right now. One thing we're looking at, and it's why it's taking a little longer, is out of on a couple of the items on the two vendors that bid, one is a little more expensive, but it's a lot closer and more convenient to get those items from that rather than having to drive all the way to Lookout Valley. So we're still evaluating a couple of those to make sure that we stay within the purchasing guidelines and that we know whether the time, the cost of labor to go get them, plus the materials, whether that all still works in. So it's taking a little longer to go through those, but I've talked with Chris Vaughn, and we're planning on bringing that to you all at the August 26th meeting.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion?
Did we get a bid on every item we put out?
No, there was one we didn't get a bid on. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but I'll tell you which one that is later. Which one? Concrete block, thank you.
All right, any other discussion?
On that, I have one more thing to bring up when we're done with this.
That's all that we have listed in new business for the attend agenda.
Okay, I wanted to ask Michelle Senegalio to come up here just for a second to introduce the intern we received from Mark Litchford that has done a fantastic job the last couple weeks for us.
Intern's done a fantastic.
And,
not
yeah,
me.
Mark doesn't do anything. It's the intern that's done a fantastic job that Mark sent us.
Trent Mansfield has been with us for last week and this week from Samford, say it right, Samford Law School in Birmingham, and he's been a huge help doing some research for me on employment law. So we appreciate having him. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Appreciate your help and appreciate you for all your hard work on the salary stabilization. That took a lot of effort.
Oh, she had a list
lot
of other
time.
things for him, too. She kept him busy.
Yes,
So,
many things.
Thank you both.
Any words, Mark?
Any comments?
No, I think if he wants to try to keep going for the rest of the semester, we ought to have him back, and we appreciate his efforts. So it was not at a cost to the city. So for those that may be wondering, and I think he's done a wonderful job, and I think he's top 5 in his class at Sanford, and figure out a way to attract him back to Hamilton County if we can, and particularly East Ridge.
Thank you, Trent.
Thank you. Is there any other business to discuss? I see none. I wish everyone a great rest of the evening and weekend, and this meeting is adjourned.